Going on. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to talk about a little bit about chiropractic for a moment. I like to do some of that, no matter what the topic is. And you know, the thing that I love about, I'll start over just a bit, and I never repeat myself because I never start with any um, any any kind of thing that I'm supposed to talk about. So it's just off the top of my head. But I look at this picture. There's a lady that I took a picture of this week. She's a new patient in the office, and she's obviously got some issues. Okay, and in chiropractic school, I learned how to just kind of throw a couple of those lines up, and there's a lot of lines that you could draw and all this kind of stuff. And I just kind of look at the angles right now and the breakdown and so forth and so on. Okay, but when we first looked at these pictures, and even till to today, the majority of chiropractic looks at this picture as what? Looks at it as a skeleton. It doesn't look at it as a human being. Okay, I didn't look at this in school, and I didn't look at this when I was doing upper cervical work and a nasium and a lateral, and I go, oh, that's a human. I used to go, oh my God, look at that curve, look at that lower angle, look at that plane line, look at C2, look at the head tilt, okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, I saw pieces of the puzzle of this, on this piece of plastic. Okay, well that's not the case anymore. Okay, that's not the case anymore at all. Okay, and one of the things I just want to remind everybody that when I'm speaking, I'm only speaking at the experiences that I've had to this point. Okay, there are so many more things to come because universal intelligence will give to us. I mean, it's endless information, and we just gotten on this ride of actually looking at this thing in a way that it's a life force and it's got bounce to it, right? It's not a building, and we've been looking at it as a piece of plastic, okay, and lines and numbers and the breakdown for so long, and what's come into my picture is a piece of the puzzle that the people that talk about the anatomists, the physiologists, the microbiologists, those guys are saying, and the fascia guys are saying, hey, this is made a different way, okay? And the contemporary um, model on this is that we're tensigro, we're this expanded system. We're not a compressive system, but we are a little bit of a compressive system because we got a skeleton inside. Okay, so we're not a complete balloon. Okay, but we are definitely not in a compressive system until what happens? That system of tensegrity breaks down, and we could see that in this picture now. Okay, so when I used to look at this, I would say, "Oh my God, look at that bend, look at that kink." Okay, and um, look at that thing, how it's leaning. Okay, I mean, that's about it. And I looked at it pieces and parts on a piece of vinyl in two dimensions. And today, I look at that very differently. I look at it as, where has this thing been traumatized? How has this thing responded? You know, how is that life force that's inside trying to take care of this thing? And the big piece is, what's next is, what can I do to support that? Okay. So to do that and to support that, I stepped back and I started asking questions. And I can look at this picture, and instead of seeing, and I don't use an X-ray to do my business, my friends. I do an X-ray, okay, to show my business. Okay, to do my business, I use a posture IQ. To show my business, I take an X-ray. Okay, so that's the beauty of what I do now. It's amazing is that I look at a three-dimensional human body, and I look at it and I could see the relationships. I could see what is supposed to be normal. I mean, just think about that for just a moment. Tell me a method that says this is where we want to go to. And orthogonal is not a place to go because you can't take an X-ray of just a neck and say that the whole human body is orthogonal. It just doesn't exist actually, ever. So where is that place? And then from that, in looking at these pictures, and imagine there's a human being there, okay? So those two things is we have an X-ray and we have the human being, and we see the degeneration and all this kind of stuff from the models that we've learned in school. But what I see now are those relationships, what are not normal. Where is this thing breaking down at a global level? And actually going through a measurement system that says, hey, these things are breaking down abnormally. So we don't have a conversation in our profession that is really the posture business and said, hey, if the hips were tilting to the right like they are on this, well, where should the spine be? Should it be tilting right or left? Where should the shoulders be? Where should the neck be? So these are the questions that I started asking asking those questions and getting a lot of answers. And we've established what relationships are on this thing. We've established what normals are, the way the body, when it's traumatized, how it responds. Okay. And that's only half the puzzle. Okay. And that is, how do you get that to happen? And then what happens if it doesn't happen? How do what do you do? So I used to just walk down the hallway and take an x-ray and I'd see the same picture and I just didn't know what to do. Well, now we have a measuring system, a posture IQ that is a communication system that we can actually see what innate intelligence, a lot of times it tells us the path at which to go to. And we just have to understand how it's trying to communicate. Okay, so we've initiated that process, and it's a lot of it is simple now, right? But there's a lot of stuff this is not the business of changing tires, right? Okay, come on in. I got a set just for you, 5 lug bolts, and I'm out the door. It doesn't work that way. This is health. This is a system here that is not just I push it in place and it becomes straight. This is a system that has been multiple traumatized. Okay, that has responded in a certain way. It's come in with a certain amount of genetics, meaning what is the power of the body that is in there. We have patients, all of us have seen people, everybody's got a different life force, my friends, you know that. So you compile the life force, you compile the trauma, you compile the air we breathe, the stress that we have in, the nutrition that we put into our body, the lack of all these things, by the way, as well, the exercise that we do and don't do, and add all that up, and all the pills that we've taken, and all the sitting position and staying in that little place of, being, a little T-Rex with our arms always with our 2 thumbs and with our fingers on our computer, like we're doing right now, okay, and sitting in this compressed, non-open space. And guess what happens? Is we have a system that starts collapsing in time. And it's our job to be able to reverse all of that. Okay? And that system right there is in lockdown mode, trying to stand up straight. And guess what? Who has to overcome that stress that you could see in that picture right there that holds that thing upright? It's a massive amount of energy, and we need to be the ones that overcome that. So if we can actually look at this thing, understand it, see the three-dimensional wave of it, understand the structures, understand the neurology, and then a system that looks up at the neck and says, man, all roads lead up to there. Everything's connected. The neck is three-dimensional, so we can access all planes, okay? And there's like 24, 25, 26 little keys up there, not just one that I thought there was, the TP of Atlas. BJ found the second one, man. It's C2. Okay, Pure Sound C5. That's number 3. Okay, I'm sure there's millions of them. Okay, but it all comes up there and it pulls the body together in a place that we can stand up. And it breaks down. Look at that lateral. It can't handle gravity. Okay, all that goes into the energetic ability of that human being to hold that together, and our ability to get it to another place so it can hold in another place better. And that is what we get to support. It's not a fix it. It's a lifetime support of that system. And the better we get to a place where we can lift it back up and have the body start supporting itself and get that tensegrity start going again. It's like I tell my patients, I said, guys, you know what? You come in for maintenance once a month with a flat tire, okay? I fill you up. During the month, I'm going to give you some things to do for yourself to start putting little bits of air in it. But you got a leak. And I can't fix that leak, but I could fill you up. Okay? And they dig that. They got it. Okay? We'll talk about that in communication. But that's what we get to do. And we're the only system that's looking at this thing as an alive system that is three-dimensional, that has that has biomechanics and relationships. It's not just an energy system. It's not just a measurement system. Guess what, guys? It's both. Okay, and you can look across the board in chiropractic from the people that measure the most to the people that don't measure at all, and it's all energy. And you put that together, and that's what we have tried to put a combination to in a three-dimensional way. And we can actually start having a conversation about it a lot because I can look at this and I see Bryce Curley is on the horn here, man. Him and I can have a really nice conversation about this for freaking hours. Okay, in so many ways. How did it happen? Where did it happen? Where are the primary dysfunctions? Okay, what is this thing? What does it want to do? How is it trying to respond? Where is it not able to respond? And how are we going to then to go through the path of getting it back up into place? What's the setup going to be? How are we going to release it? What side is up? Okay. What do we think is going to happen after that? And if it does happen, then we do this. And if that happens, we do that. Isn't that right, Bryce? you know, that's it. That's what we can do. Okay. And it's no longer just a, hey, you know what? Your C456 is really degenerated right now, and you got a little left head tilt, and your lower angle is kinked into the left frontal plane. Okay. That's the conversation shift. Okay. And that's the conversation shift that goes with your patients. Okay. So, any questions on what I just said? That was like a free for all. Okay. So what I'm going to talk to you tonight is kind of my where I'm at in my practice management, and it's my story. Okay. Your story is, and if I can do one thing for you tonight, and it's really, I could say it in a sentence, is that if I can get you to just be yourself, then everything will fall into place. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm telling you, okay, how to do it. Okay, that's the piece. Okay, so in the beginning, for me, you already know who I am, man. I was born crazy, so that's just the way I am. I've been that way forever. And when I came out of chiropractic school, I graduated, number two out of 183. I got two board certifications in upper cervical work. And when you think you're doing upper cervical work and you're getting certified, guess what, man? There's no badder ass in town than you, okay? And I lived in that place and I sold my enthusiasm and I was a chiropractor and I came from a family that thought that, if you had a cough, you took cough syrup. My dad was a veterinarian, so I just got, dog medicine my whole life, so and that's the mentality. And when I came to chiropractic school, all of a sudden, and I opened up the human body in dissection and I saw the vagus nerve was in the same place in everybody, I knew there was an amazing thing that was in there, man. Okay. And I sell that to my patients now, and I sell that to you guys. Okay. It's that green book stuff that, life is in there. Okay. And all those things came together, and that's what I sold. Okay. And then there was this other side. Okay. And this is, you know, I hated this. I hated talking about money. I didn't want to go into practice management. Why do you? I couldn't do into practice management because I can't listen to anybody. Okay, so I was like stuck in this crazy place of just being like the greatest chiropractor on the planet. Yet I never fixed anybody and never really made that happen. And then I had to compete with people that started doing success plans, and I started from the beginning. I remember I reached out to a friend and I got one of their care plans, and it was like 7 pages long and fine print and all these things and attorney language. And before I knew it, and where I am today, I have 4 sentences on my success plan. Okay. So I want to tell you a little bit about that journey because um, I'm not made to do screenings. Okay, it's just not who I am, and I never knew what I should do. I worked with George about 3 4 years ago for about 3 4 months, and you know and. And I just, I've been lost in the sauce with what I should do and how I should practice because what did I care about? I just cared about working on the spine. That's what I did, man. I was a chiropractor. I wasn't the money guy, but I've always been successful because I've had a good practice that way just because of my demeanor. Okay. So, I just didn't like this whole part. And I got to a place in this that I was doing my success plans all on one day and just jamming it down people's throat. And the beautiful thing about universal intelligence is it will take you to bottom, just like when I adjust people, I go to bottom. Okay, he'll take you to bottom. Okay, and when you hit the bottom, you're going to rise. Okay, and that when I was jamming stuff down people's throat and they were saying no, and no and no and no and no and no, I got to a place where I go, okay, this isn't working. I'm doing this a different way. So tonight I'm going to tell you kind of where I'm at, what I do it. I'm going to do it on slides, not like I'm working with a patient, but I think you'll get the gist of it. Okay? And I'm just going to tell you another path of a way that I take care of a patient. Okay? And the whole idea and end product of this is that the patient actually wants to be in your care. I mean, imagine that you don't have, there isn't a person that is on this webinar that doesn't feel the pressure of selling to a new patient. Okay? Think about that. Think about that we have to sell. I mean, think about when you go into the dentist. Does he feel like he has to sell to you? I mean, it's preposterous. And here we are doing like the best work on the planet, lifted people up into their structure. Structure dictates function. And I mean, I can't speak for any of you, but maybe I can. I don't know, but I mean, it's an uncomfortable feeling when a new patient comes in, and the day that you got it, whatever that day is, it's day 3. They don't even, it's day 3. I got a day 3. That's pressure, day 3. So I don't like that pressure, because what that pressure signifies to me is that ain't grooving with my soul. Okay, and that means that my head's in the wrong space and it's driving the boat. Okay, and I got to look into that space because I'm out of balance. Okay, so this is where I roll today. Okay, all right. So the first thing is and this is the key piece, is you got to learn to roll with what's going on, okay? And you got to stop pushing against what you don't want to do and what you don't like. So there are things in your office that you go, God, I just hate doing that. Well, those are the things that just got to go first, okay? Whatever that is. I mean, if it's that I just hate wearing a tie, or I hate that wall, or I hate my front office lady, whatever it is, if you're looking for something on the outside, it's always on the inside, by the way. I'll tell you how to get rid of the outside one. You just get rid of it. But you should be able to look at yourself and say, man, I got to be in a place in everything in my office that I jive with all of it. Okay, so this is really not about your patients. It's a conversation about us. Okay, so when I see there's an issue in my office, or I'm bumping up against something, there's something for me to look at. Okay, and it's not about the other person. It's not about the patient. Those are just little gifts that universal intelligence brings us so that we can actually look at ourselves and say, man, I need to work on this. It's an unbelievable system. Okay, we've been doing it backwards since the beginning, blaming everybody. Okay, so just look to yourself. Okay, when you look to yourself, it's a gift that you actually have that awareness that you want to help yourself. Okay, and the universe is saying, I want to help you. It's like the posture IQ. When I freaking collapse everything, it says, hey, Ross, wrong way. I don't look at it like it's fighting me. I look at it as loving me. Okay, and it tells me it's a great gift. There's no pressure when I adjust people. Zero, guys. Okay. Because the machine tells me what it tells me, and I'm just going to do the best that I can. So you got to find your place. You got to find your comfort zone. You got to be okay with that. Okay, because that's the space where you're going to grow. Okay. So here's the deal. Okay, I don't script anything in my office. Okay, the conversation that I tell my front office lady is very simple. She's been here with me for 3 years. I said, talk to her, talk to the people like you just talk to them on the phone. Okay, answer their questions, tell them about what goes on here, and tell them what goes on. Never try to go around something. I used to have scripts that And let's if somebody asks the insurance question, if somebody asks the cash question, if somebody asks, do you do care plans in your office, those kind of things. Okay, those are the things that always I say, God, so weird to do that, but like I just did it because that's what you did, okay? Until I realized how much I hated it, and then I had an awareness that I needed to change. See, it's such a simple process that if we pay attention to the smaller stuff, we don't have to get it to be a big catastrophe, okay? So my phone conversation is about creating a relationship with people, okay? It's finding out what's going on with them, and whenever they ask a question of how much something costs, we do, we tell them this is what we do, okay? We are a cash practice. We do not take insurance in the office. We will give you a piece of paper, okay? I don't even file for people. I'll give you a piece of paper if you want, okay? It's got the stuff on it, all right? The people that are going to come to you don't care about that. If you care about that, guess what's going to happen? That's what you're going to get, okay? So stop caring about that, okay? Tell the people who you are, okay? Not what you think they want to hear. Okay, so that relationship starts from the beginning. If you are truthful, they will be truthful. It's a great relationship. Okay, so I don't do deals. Okay, I do help people. I have about 2 or 3 people in my office that I help out right now. Okay, I used to have 100, 200, 500. I had an office of deals. I had to deal with everybody, man. Okay, why? Because I hated the whole money thing and I just wanted to take care of them and I stunk at it. That's it. And I wasn't true to myself. Okay? So when somebody calls us, they know what's happening on the next visit. On the first visit, this is what happens. This is what it costs. Okay? If they ask, we don't have a thing like that. Somebody calls up, hey, I'm Bob. I want to make an appointment. Fine, Bob. Give me your name, your number, and when's your availability? Whatever she says to them. Boom, bang, boom. Okay, and we get them in. Okay, just talk to them. All right, so that starts there. And if you start that relationship, an honorable one with your patients, you will have an honorable one with forever. Okay, so look at the things that are out of integrity with you. Not that they're out of integrity, they're out of integrity with you. Okay, if they're good for somebody else, I don't care. Then you should be doing that, good, whatever it is. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to just find you to have you find yourself. Okay, and you just got to ask the question. It's not an outside problem, it's an inside issue. It's always an inside job, guys. Okay? Okay, so on my first visit, this is what I do. Okay? I've done the thing, well, I have to look at your films and please bring your spouse back and these kind of things. That's not what I do now. Okay? People come into the office, okay, and they kind of get a tour through the office, and I peek in and say hello to them, and then it's either me or somebody else is going to go ahead and get them on the posture IQ, and we take some films on them. And then I sit down and talk to them. And I tell them before I start, just when I peek in, I said, we just do things a little bit differently. I want to get some data on you so that when you sit down and tell me what's going on, I can tell you, okay, I can have a conversation with you about why those things can be happening. Okay. So if you were just sitting down with somebody and talking to them and finding out what's going on, you're just listening to them. You can't say anything to them with any detail. You don't have no detail except conjecture. Okay, so if you actually have your information when you sit down with them, posture IQ, scales, whatever you do, okay, to assess the patient as best as you can where you're at, then you can actually have a conversation. And that is back to the relationship, is to be able to have a conversation with a patient, not a lecture. Okay, it's not a lecture, it's a conversation. Okay? And guess what? You have a conversation with them, you hear what they say, and then what happens is, okay, you tell them a little bit what's going on. And we talk about what those conversations look like a little bit tonight. Okay, because I'm not sitting and having a consultation, I'm going to be just talking to you about it. Okay, third person. And then I adjust people. Okay, and then I used to post film them on that visit And I don't do that now. I do that on the 10th visit. Okay, I stopped doing that about a month ago. Okay, because that post film is not of value to me. What I need after I see the posture IQ. The film for me is, and where I'm going is, and I actually just got a digital unit yesterday. It just got finally installed. So, and I bought it not because I could take care of people better, because I take care of people just great with plastic, just seeing the degeneration and what's going on the inside. Okay, but I use the posture IQ to take care of people. Okay, and tell me what I got to do. All right. So I did that so that hopefully we could see some changes for the future. Okay. So I'm excited about that. So that's what we do on the first visit is we tour and sit down. I've got a nice space in my office and nice screen and nice table. And after I check them or and get the films and I throw the films up, um, we just start talking. Okay, so I'll show you a little bit what that process is tonight. Is there any question?
You do the 10th visit with the X-ray just because then you can see better changes after
Because
after a number of
I want
visits.
to see a full spine change at this point.
Okay.
Okay. So so one of the things that is really important in your office, okay, for yourself, okay, and play music or have lighting or whatever it may be in your office, okay, is um, create some barrier for you. It's going to create a barrier for your patients. All right. So I hear this all the time in my office. First of all, I keep my lights almost off. I turn the lights on in the front because it's dark out when we open. Okay. And then I turn them and the lights in the back are off where the adjusting room lights are on, but the whole middle is it's my whole office is dim. Okay. That's because that's the way I like it. And patients come in, I hear it all the time. I could when I just come in here, I already feel better. Okay. I used to play disco in the office. That's what I used to dig for at one point. Yeah. Okay. We had Thursday night disco in the office. My patients knew it. Okay. I'm not into disco listening anymore. Okay. I listen to smooth jazz in my office. Huge groove, blah, blah, blah. Okay. My lighting's down. I got my dogs walking around. I'm chilling out. I'm talking to people and I'm knocking it down. That's what I do. Okay. And I feel great in the space. You know who says, "Hey, could you hit? We're on Pandora or Amazon Prime, whatever. Whatever my front office puts on, but some smooth jazz deal." And when it goes off, it'll pop off. Still listening. Okay, when it goes off, man, I could just hear it, and nobody else does because I love to adjust to music. Man, it's like I'm just grooving with it. I can't adjust without music, man. It's just boring. Okay, so it's fun for me. It's like when I'm working out, man, I got to run to music. I go to sleep to music. It just rocks my body. I'm doing it right now. I just got rhythm that way. Believe it or not, Friedman's got a little rhythm for a white boy. Okay, but so that's what I do. Okay, and your space is a reflection of you. Okay, if your office is messy, the people that will come in, if they're not into mess, they're not gonna you're not gonna dig them. Okay, if people are not into dogs in the office, guess what? They won't hang out with me too long. Okay, because I have four dogs in my office. Okay, why do I have four dogs in my office? Because they're my best pals, and I love being around them. I couldn't think about being without them. So I couldn't. I mean, when do I go home and see them? No, they hang out with me, man. My wife is saying, "What about me too?" Definitely Rita too. She's number one. Okay. So you got to create the environment that you want. Okay. And there are obstacles for sure, but you can work around those obstacles. There's financial obstacles, there's time obstacles, there's space obstacles, okay? But you can still do some good stuff and make it happen and make it yours, okay? So my front office lady, is from Detroit. Okay, and she just has tried to get me out of the button-down shirt and the tie. I come from upper cervical land, and so I popped the tie off a couple times. Well, she bought me some these native kind of boots. They're kind of high top sneakers. And Jonathan Lazar bought me a pair of Lululemon pants. And so I wore them with an Under Armour shirt, and I had a testimonial that day. You saw it. And man, all day long, patients are like, man, I love the way you look. And I'm like, you don't think it's like, I should be like in a tie or something? They said, no, you look like, one patient said to me, she says, no, you've gone from the businessman doctor to the sports medicine healthy guy. So I thought that was a cool thing. Okay. So, am I comfortable wearing that? Yeah, I'm comfortable when I want to wear that, and I'm comfortable when I want to wear a shirt and tie. I wear a shirt and tie on Monday. Okay, you know. So, I really, you should ask yourself is how do you want to be in your office? Okay, you get to create whatever you want to create. Look at it's done for me. It speaks for itself. So it's not difficult. You just got to be able to get out of your own way. Okay? So you create the environment that you want to dance in, man. Okay? And guess what will happen? You'll start dancing. Okay? All right. So we have relationship. Okay? We got the environment and the third thing, and this is a cool thing. Okay? Is that there is no doubt that I can have a conversation that they have never had. And that is why they're having the trouble they're having. And I make sure they hear that. Okay? So I keep these three things very simple. Okay? I tell people, I look at three things like the body's a building. Okay? But it's not. Okay? So this building gets knocked off center. So I look at the tilt. Okay? Well, imagine there's 6 floors and it tilted, and I'm usually holding my ruler, and I said it's tilting, just straight, and it's nice and it's aligned, so they could see that. I don't have to go through this conversation. I said, or it's zigzagging and it bend it all up. I said, well, which one's, stronger? And they go, definitely that one. So I said, those are the two things that I look at. I look how far it tilts off, if it's 3 pounds or 30 pounds, which one's a bigger issue, and the configuration, is it zigzagging all over the place? The bigger the zigzag, the weaker it is. So the more zigzag, the bigger the tilt, and guess what happens? The building falls down after a while. Okay, and that's the third piece that I measure. So I measure the tilt, the zigzag, and how that energy of your body is able to hold that thing, and how it's falling down. Grandma always falls down. We see it in everybody. Okay, so we want to assess those three things today. That's easy, isn't it? So easy. They hear that. They get that. That's why I talk to them while they're on the posture IQ. They already start this conversation. The tilt, the zigzag configuration, and how your body's handling it energetically. If it can handle it, okay? And we're going to talk about different ways to say that, okay? You're standing with a suitcase on one leg, and the suitcase weighs 50 pounds. How about a 3-pound suitcase standing on 2 legs? Which one's stronger? It's very simple. That's what I assess. Okay. Okay. So with that conversation, it doesn't become long and involved. Okay. So there's 2 things that you have to make sure. Don't talk so much. Get to the point. Okay. They get it. Okay. And never talk while you're adjusting. This has nothing to do with this conversation, but never talk while you're adjusting, except telling them to relax because you're dynamically releasing everything in their spine and body. Okay. So this is something that I do is I take a full spine x-ray and I draw some lines on it and I stick it up on the view box as of 2 days ago. And I have the patient who's sitting in my consult room or wherever they are, and I go get them. And I put the films up and I say, hey, these are your pictures. This is you standing here. This is the left side, so you're kind of looking into the wall. And I drew some lines on it. I'm going to go check in with Martina, who's my front office lady. I'll be back in a moment, and we're going to talk about this and see what you see and see what I see. Okay? So I give them a moment for them to see it, and they see it. Okay? They see the importance of it, and you then speak to them about that. They can see it. This is broken down here. This is a patient that just started. Where's that thing? Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm having. Oh, here we go. Okay, good. Yes, look at this down here. Look at that, man. It's the pelvis here, tilting down on the left. Look at that breakdown, L5-4, and look at that three buckling. And you can't see this, but all the spinuses are bending to the right. It's got this big hook going on, breaking down. Okay. So I saw that lady today, her third visit, and she feels like 100% better. Okay. So when you show somebody that, they see that. Okay. So the posture IQ, one of the things that it does is it gives me everything I need to take care of somebody. This gives me a way for the patient to see that, okay, in a different way. So that's why the film is for them, not for you. That is for me also to know that, okay? I got that. But you understand that, okay? So they get to see it, okay? They get to see the importance of it in whatever conversation it is, okay? Okay? They see that you see it. And then when you're done with your consultation, okay, they see that you have a way that can actually change that, okay? Not I fix that conversation. I don't mean that. So they see the process of this to start, okay? And I start that process again. So I start that is with this consultation. So I have their information from the Posture IQ. We just talked about the films for a few minutes, okay? So I'm telling them about the tilt, the zigzag, and the collapse, and what I'm looking at on the Posture IQ. I'm not telling them where they're at. I don't go, it's left, it's right, you this, you that. I may throw out, well, you got 20 pounds on the left. We like 0 to 3. If there's things that are big, your twist in your pelvis is 15, 10 is the top of the scale. But generally, I don't give too much. I said, I'm just looking at some information, and I'm looking at I tell them what I'm doing by standing behind them rather than me telling what I'm finding. Okay? Then when I stand in front of them, I said, what I'm looking at is to assess your body's energy value, how strong it is. It tilts off center, it zigzags, and it falls down. And I give them that like I've given it to you. Okay. So the consultation, when I sit down, I've had at least a moment with them because I popped in, or I was the one that made the assessment on them. Okay, and I'm feeding them information, and I like being the one that does the assessment. Okay, because I like delivering my stuff from the beginning. Okay? I have to go because like maybe the other person didn't do it the way I do it because I don't script in my office. Okay, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right. So I just like being me, and whatever comes to mind, and what I want to say in my heart, and what I see, I want to talk to a person because want to do this. Is I want to listen, and I never want to lean in on them, and I always used to lean in. I couldn't wait to tell them what I wanted to tell them. So I let them tell me their deal. Okay, and I am leaning back, listening. And when I start my conversation with them, it's no more than 3 to 6 minutes. I wouldn't say it's three. Let's call it 5 to 8 minutes at most conversation of what I'm seeing in a general way. I don't use this picture anymore. It was still when I was in detail mode. Okay? The only detail, no, it's okay. Well, so too much is just too much. Okay? So I listen, and they have had information, and I say, look, there's those things that I'm looking at of the tilt. I said, you're tilting this far off. This is normal. I said the configuration is this is the zigzag. I don't get into what's normal, what's not normal. It should be a setup this way, it's set up that way. I've done it all, guys. Okay? Your building is zigzagging all over the place, and it's collapsing X amount. Okay? Today, what I want to do is this. Okay? I'm going to come in up into your neck area, and I'm going to feel the tension because the body is falling down. We saw that x-ray, all those bends in there. Gravity is pushing down. I want to try to lift it up, and I want to find a way to do that. And we do that from the neck. Okay? There's no twisting. There's no popping. You've been referred in here. Okay? My patients are only referred in. So, and that's what we're going to do. You ready? Let's go. That's it. We walk up to the front. I check him again, and I lay him on the table and blast off. Okay? All right. So too much conversation is too much conversation. Get them to understand they're already getting adjusted, and I don't have to sell them the adjustment. Okay? People have just a consultation, and they said, well, now we can take some pictures, and that'll be, and then they get to the pictures, and okay, then you could come back and we'll talk to you about the pictures. And then when we talk to you about the pictures, you can bring somebody, and then we'll talk to you about the fee to get you adjusted. Okay? I want to touch people, guys. It works for me. I know the faster I get to them and touch them, the faster they're going to be a patient in my office. Okay? Because they're not coming to listen to the music, even though they dig it. All right? So the faster I get them to that place, and I used to charge $650 to start a new patient. I charge $315 now. Because all I want to do is touch them. And that's the couple films that we take, consultation and the posture IQ, and blast off. That's what they get. It's 45 minutes in and out, maybe 50. Okay? Nice music playing. They're hanging in the office by themselves. I'm not running out. Okay? They got to see what was going on. They like me. I'm cash. I'm very confident. You know that. I tell them what they need to hear and what they need. And I tell them this, okay? That thing is broken down. That is the cause of why you're having the trouble, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to look at it over the next 3 to 4 visits. And we're going to look at the tilt and see how that changes. We're going to look at the configuration and see how that changes, that zigzagging. We're going to look at the collapse, and we're going to see how that changes. And we're going to see how you're responding, not just on the machine, but also symptomatically. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And we're going to look at that. That's it. And you get it, man. I already got 3 or 4 visits in the bag, and I'm done. Okay? That statement right there can be anywhere, okay, in every conversation you have on the first 3 to 4 visits. Okay? Because what you just did is you gave yourself some space. Okay? If you need more than that, then you take more than that. But you be true to yourself. Okay? I need 3 to 4 visits to change what I feel to change somebody. And if I still didn't change them, they get what I'm doing and they're going to keep going. Okay? And it's pretty simple. If they don't, they stop. Okay? That's all right too. It's all right. But I used to ram it down their throat, and if you can't do this, you can't do that. I like 4 visits, man. I love it, man. 4 visits, I am just chill. They come in the second visit, I adjust them. The third visit, I adjust them. We do some myofascial therapy on them that Allie does, and some functional neurology. They love it. Man, they build a relationship in the office. They bring treats for the dogs, man. We got food in the office. They got the dim lights. We got the Friedman music on, We got an open office. It feels good. It's chill. Okay? They like it. That's what I attract. Okay? I don't attract, the guy that comes from Buckhead. He's, a stressed out financial worker, whatever. There's no stressed out finance workers right now anyway. So what I like to do is I figure out what their language is. Okay? And really it is If you look at anybody within the first 30 seconds, if not just looking at them, how you got to talk to them. Okay? South Georgia is different than the guy that builds rockets that I take care of. You know, so you got to be able to relate to people. Okay? Some people I just say, man, it's all tangled up, and just got to figure out a way to just get it untangled for the first few visits. Okay? It's in the initial. That's like an initial statement. Okay? You know, the process of care. You want to talk about the process of care? As I get you, you're basically standing on one leg, like I said, with a 50-pound suitcase. You know, and I want to get you to two feet with a 3-pound suitcase, and that's a process to do that. And they get that, and they want to be there. Okay. And guess what happens, man? That tire's got a leak. Okay, I can't fix the leak. Okay, but I can get it filled up. So you need to do some maintenance care. You know. So they hear that. They hear that language through me through care. Okay. On an information way, in an information way, not on the last day. Oh, by the way, your care plan is done, or your next week your care plan is done, and we need to have a meeting and talk about maintenance. Okay, whatever, whatever you do, or you have to re-up somebody. Okay, so in my office, my patients know what they want to do. Okay, why? Because they've made a decision of what they want to do, and I tell them, I said, look, this is what I see. This is where you're at, and this is what I would suggest. Okay? And we have a conversation. It's where we are, is always having a conversation about stuff. All right? They never feel like I'm leaning on them. We're not really having a conversation. We're having a lecture, but they think it's a conversation. Okay? You know what I'm saying. All right? So you're meeting them where they're at. You're having a good conversation with them, and you're talking to them. Okay? And this is something that I just repeat over and over to patients, okay? And I keep it easy for them, okay? I'm going to release this about 3 to 4 times, and I'm going to watch the changes. I'm going to look at the tilt. I'm going to look at the configuration, the way that building, how they're zigzagging, okay? And I'm going to look how all those two things are supporting it, okay? I'm going to look at what the machine says and how the symptoms are, okay? And we're going to sit down and talk about, how you responded and how to make that happen for the future for you. So simple. That's what they want. That's why they're there. Okay? And I don't know about you guys, but I always felt like I was not in that space. Like I had to tell them, I was selling them. And I don't know if my dentist does that, or I don't have a medical doctor. So
I do.
yeah, funny. Yeah, Rita does now. Okay. So, any questions? That's number 3. There's 5 things we'll talk about. So, the fourth thing is you have to empower yourself, and then you have to empower your patient. Okay? It's very simple. How are you empowered? By living in a space and doing everything that you want and talking to the patient and designing your care plan or no care plan or insurance or no insurance or dog or no dog or cat or food or no food or paint, okay, or technique or no technique, x-ray or no x-ray, whatever you do, whatever you just do, okay? Okay? Because your heart says, not your pocket and your mind, okay, what your heart says, okay? If you create that space for yourself and you talk to people how they have this amazing gift inside themselves and that thing is communicating with them and we're going to listen to it and we're going to heal that thing, they are dying for that, man. Okay? And you become somebody that supports them in all ways. I get down and dirty on these patients right away, man. I have this patient just started up, 3 visits on the Posture IQ. And if you know my office, the middle is open with the Posture IQ. I am standing literally 6 inches away from her, and she is She swims and she's like 5'2" and lean and she's like an Iron Woman type lady, okay? And she has severe issues, okay? And she is freaking out. Like she asked me on the second visit, "Am I going to be a cripple?" Okay, because she saw her spine. And I said to her, "You are an amazing person." And on the third visit, she has already had a life changing event. It used to take her an hour to get out of bed. She told me this. It takes me an hour to get out of bed. Nobody can be around. I can't be around anybody. To get up and out of bed, an hour. On the third visit, that was gone. She sent me a text and told me how it changed her life. Okay. And she's come in for her arm is going numb. She has severe breakdown in her neck. Okay, I'm concerned about it. And I told her that. I said, "Listen, I can what I can do is if you want to go some rounds, let's go and see if I can help you." Okay? On the fourth visit, I have not helped her with her hand yet, mildly if anything. Okay? But what she saw and everything else, I told her what she needed and she did it. It's no issue. Okay? So you support people. You meet them where they are, not on your knee. My dentist doesn't go on his knee. That's I know he sits in a chair. Be true to yourself, okay? The relationship you have is to do your best work, okay? Wherever that is. It's all right, man. It's exactly where you want to be. Universal intelligence has it no other way, okay? So you get to support them the same way. Okay, now this is the one that we get to do, okay? And this is from my heart. I feel that we are the only ones that are doing it at the profound level that we are able to do it. And I can't speak for everybody, I'll speak for myself, okay? And that is I give them something that they've never had, okay? Is I give them is an understanding of why they're having trouble, a understanding of what's happening to their body, they can see it, and then a conversation of how I look to restore that. Because the body's made to be a certain way, upright. They see it from start to finish, it becomes a process. There's confidence, there's data, there's explanation, and there's love. All you got to do. Okay, and love on them, just to love on them the way they are, man. Just love on them as best as you can. Some of them stink, man. None of mine stink anymore. I love them all. I put my arms around them, and I'm not that kind of guy. I just love being in my office, man, and just doing that with them. I'm just like in the trenches with them, man. It's like my mission. Okay? No different than you. You wouldn't be here otherwise. I know it. You wouldn't be doing this method if it wasn't that way. It would be out of sync. It couldn't be. It's like a dog and a computer. They don't work together. Okay? People on this call right now that do QSM3 are connected that way. Okay? Nowhere else are we having these kind of conversations. Okay? It's the best. These are the conversations I have with my patients. You love to hear them. I know you do. Okay? And you should be love giving them. Okay? Because you get to pay it forward. This is what they want to hear. This is it. Okay? They want to see you inside. They want to connect with you. Okay? They're your friends in a way. Okay? We know who they are. We learn a lot about them. And they come to us for help. Okay? They come to us for help. And in return, they pay us. Okay? So this is what happens on the fourth visit. You hope. And it doesn't always happen, but it happens a lot. Man, it's a no-brainer. It's easy. I sit down with people. I adjust them. They already know it's coming the third visit. You know what? Next visit, we're going to sit down and talk. Will that work for you? And we'll talk about, how to, make this thing happen for you in a consistent way now that I see what's going on. And they go, yeah, let's do that. I ask them. Simple. It's not the first time they've heard it. They've heard it every single visit. 3 to 4 visits, till configuration collapse, symptoms, machine, sit down and talk. Okay, not sit down and talk, because then it's sit down and talk. Okay, is chat on how we can help you the best way. That's what you make it. That's what you say. Not sit down and talk and tell you about a care plan. Then it becomes that. That's about the money. Okay. So you work on them, and then you go and you let them go rest. I take care of a couple people, and then I go sit down with them, 5, 10 minutes. And you know what I do is I take out a piece of paper and I say, look, at this is you've been in this office. You've they've already worked with Allie with some therapy or Sean. Okay. So what I do in my office is very simple. Okay. Do you have any questions about what's going on and where we're at? Nope. I said, okay, so what I see is that you need 6 months worth of care, okay, which is 26 office visits or so, and do some fascial work on it and some neurology stuff that we're trying to get the brain back in place and balance, whatever they do. You know what I do, guys. I do one thing, okay? I don't do any of that. I just do this, okay? But the other stuff is helpful for sure. It's very helpful, okay? It's great. Okay. But I do this because that's what I want to do. Okay. And they already know that I'm the only one who has told them the cause. I am already one who has helped them. Okay. And I'm not like any doctor they've ever met. Okay. And what has happened is you've created a relationship that they see somebody that is helping them, or maybe you're not yet, but they see somebody that gets it. They see your heart. It wasn't about the money. I never felt like I was forcing it down. Okay. And we sit down, there's no selling. And this is what I say, and this is what I do. And I say, listen, there's 2 ways you can take care of this. You can pay an installment, okay, or you could pay it in full. They say, okay. And that's where it goes. And guess what happens? I did that, okay, and a lady said to me, I can't do that. Can I just go visit by visit? And this was about 6 months ago. And I said, no, you cannot. And after she left, that was the last time I did that. Okay? Now I would say yes. Okay? And I have had 2 yeses since then. And both of those patients are not patients. Okay? And that's okay. But I was not the one that turned them away. Okay? I gave them the best care I could over the few visits they were there. Okay? They didn't get what they needed apparently, or they got everything that they needed. Okay? And they moved on. Okay? And that's the way it goes. Okay? But I didn't feel uncomfortable about it. I didn't use any force. Okay? I'm not about force anymore. Eckhart Tolle, power versus force. All right. So any questions? So there's nothing to sell. There's no pressure. I sit back. Let me talk to my husband. Fine. Yeah, you don't have to make a decision today. They make an appointment before they leave. I already know they're coming back because they like us. They love us. They've never been in a place like our place. Okay? It's that simple. You just create your own place like that, which is your place. Okay? Like they've never been. They couldn't be. Okay? Because it's your place. How could they be anywhere else? So simple. I know that's so funny. And all right. So guys, this is what I do and what I create in my office, okay? Is from the conversation to the minute they walk in, to the few visits, to just relating them, to the process of what they see from X-ray, posture IQ, conversations about them, understanding what's going on, the way that they respond, okay? The ease at which we do it, yet the quiet confidence at which I do it, okay? The depth at which we have conversations, not about their pain, but how to get out of pain. Okay. And that one lady at the posture IQ, I got off track, is I stood right in her face and I said to her, I said, the only thing that you need to do is stop the fear of that you can't do it. I said, because she's a big goal person. I said, Michelle, in 3 visits, okay? I'm looking her right in the face. I said, Michelle, you're a big goal person, always has been in control, and now you're out of control. And I know that's uncomfortable. You know why? Because I've been there, and it about killed me. And as fast as you let that go and relax and ride through it, is as fast as you'll start healing too. Because that is the stumbling block, because you are, besides your spine, which I'll take care of. So you got a job to do, and I got a job to do. So cut the fear, okay? So your fear okay, of whatever you're doing in your office is the fear that it's creating its own trouble. Okay? Listen, the universe is always going to give you what you need, not what you want. Always what you need. So if you need to break a habit and learn, then guess what? So, Nisargadatta, cool little yogi dude, he said, realize that your world is only a reflection of yourself and stop finding fault with the reflection. Stop looking at the reflection as a fault and look at it as a gift. If you don't like it, it's just like a symptom. We tell our patients, pay attention to your symptom. Don't come to me when you just have a symptom. Okay? So we should be evolving no different. We need to take our own medicine, my friends. Okay? You need to create an environment. Listen, if you were into getting on your knee and giving them and telling them about the money and doing your thing, then that's your bag, man. I love it. If you're into 80 patients a day and flying by and banging it out, great, man. I'm not into that. I did that. Well, I'm not into that now. It's not what I'm into in my life. I used to eat candy too. I'm not into it either. But people like candy. I'm more power to them. Okay? You know? So you got to find your space, okay? And you got to lean back and enjoy yourself. And okay? So if you feel like going casual, go casual, man. If you don't want to go casual, don't go casual. Be yourself, okay? Express who you are, okay? I mean, there are limits and boundaries, obviously. Okay? It's not a free for all, okay? There's a decorum that is obviously needs to be respected. There's a minimum. There's a maximum, actually, that's a minimum in my land, okay? So, okay. So, guys, here's the deal. Okay, will take a huge amount of stress off you, and you'll really make a lot of friends. I'm going to tell you that in the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've had at least a dozen patients that I haven't seen for any ranging from a year to 2 to 3 years come in the office in the past few weeks. Okay, and here's the deal, man. Okay, you can't go ahead, and make them see what you see. Okay, you can't make them come. Okay, you can't make them come. You could force it all day long. You could say to somebody, and every one of you had over and over, I need to check this in 3 days, and they leave in the front office and they said, no, they didn't make an appointment. It's never happened to any of you, I know. Only me. Okay. Because you know why? Because people are going to do what you want. And when you start respecting who they are and what they want, guess what? You create a long-term relationship. And then when they get in a pinch, they can understand when they need a little more care. And they get that because they didn't do that. I said, look, hey, I told you, brush your teeth. Only when you need a root canal. I used to rub it in. I just meet them where they are now. Okay? Because they usually come in, I know you're going to yell at me. I know I should have been here. They do that naturally because they know. You don't have to tell them. People that smoke cigarettes know they shouldn't smoke cigarettes, just in case you knew that. Okay, you never have to tell your patient stop smoking. Okay, you just got to meet them where they are, and it starts with you meeting yourself where you are. Okay, so, and then this is the key one. Guess what happens? You can only then you make sure that they go nowhere else. Just make sure they go nowhere else. Okay. I had a lady tell me the other day. I hadn't seen her for 2 years. Okay. And she said, I've just been doing great. And she says, I just got to tell you the other thing. Jesus just told me not to see you. I was like, really? That's okay. I wasn't freaked out. I thought that was kind of cool. And then she said to me, because I looked at her, I was like, well, why are you here then? And she says, well, he told me to come back. And I was like, cool. I was like, okay. I mean, it doesn't matter what the message is, okay? I mean, that's how we get all messages anyway. I already do what we need to do. That's where I get this information from. It's from universal intelligence. So listen, there's three kinds of people. There's people that are 100% compliant. There's people that are 100% non-compliant, and then there's people that are sometimes compliant. Okay, and if you create the space that actually that you get to keep what you kill, okay, then guess what happens? You always make a place that's warm and fuzzy for people and different than any place else because everybody else is running a business. Okay, I'm not running a business. Okay, I'm running a place where people are coming, that I'm connecting to, that I'm taking care of, that I do what I was made to do with the greatest passion wherever I'm at. Okay. I had a patient say to me today, I had a patient that I haven't seen for 3 years. And she said to me today, It's her third visit, and I had a quiet day today. So I'm sitting and I'm just chewing with her, and she says, she says, what happened to you? So what do you mean? She says, your face and your body and the way you talk. She says, you're so relaxed. She says, I came here because you're the best. But I also didn't like coming here because you weren't like whatever she said. I was too like powerful, energized. I was aggressive, grumpy, whatever. It was some words in there like that. Like it wasn't a good spot for her. She says, "What happened?" So I just looked at her and I said, "Well, I just got my ass kicked." you know. So look at people will love to be with you because of what you're doing for them. Okay. And if you can create an environment that's really you and they get to see you, nobody else does that. Everybody else walks into a place that's white walls and, you know, and whatever. I mean, you just create your environment the best that you can and be who you want to be. So, all right. So when I'm in my office, okay, I said this to my front office lady the other day. I said, Martina, I just so weird. I feel like when I'm in my office, I'm sitting at the cabin right now. There's a fireplace to my right, okay, and I mean, it's as tranquil as can be. I'm up in the cabin, man, just chilling, and I feel no different in my office than I do than I'm sitting here talking with you. You know, so that's what QSM3 is about. Okay, because that is really the way that you get to be an amazing adjuster. Is if we are truly connected people, okay, and we truly are connected, all right, and we are receiving 100% from universal intelligence, then why are we not at 100%? And that is because we smother ourselves with all the things that we think we're supposed to do to help somebody else or what they may want, okay? So, I invite you to come see a system, come tell others about a system and a method that actually looks at the human body and a structure and a neurology in gravity and time with measurements. I invite you to become empowered so that you can actually express yourself the way you want to within that way. Okay? And that means in your office, not in my office. Okay? You can't express yourself you know that way in my office, okay? So you get to express that way in your office, okay? And there's, a fresh look at chiropractic using words like vitalism and tensegrity and neurology and not just a bone out of place in three dimensions in life. And actually an energy place where you get to be as a doctor, where we get to connect to people and we get to connect to ourselves first. We talk about that in the adjustment and then connecting to that patient. And it's a fascinating place that when you can let go completely enough that where I get to feel that I can feel the changes that I'm doing in people. I can feel that. I used to not have that relationship when I just touched the side of the neck 3 times, 8 times, 10 times. It would be a push rather than a release and a working together. So all of this has come together to create my atmosphere in my office and my patient care, and being able to create a doctor for a lifetime. Okay, I see myself as a doctor for their lifetime. Okay, I don't look at them as they're coming in for their care plan. Okay, ask your patient what they would like to do. Okay, but before you do that, you just got to ask yourself what you would like to do. Okay, and when you change that, then they won't you'll watch how all the barriers go away in your office. Okay? All right, so any questions? So we got a class coming up in April. Okay? Um it's it's I don't know, for me it's like I couldn't miss it. I just couldn't miss it. How could I miss it, man? This is what I do. I mean, I couldn't miss it. So, if there is something that you need to make sure that you don't miss it, all you got to do is pick up the phone to me, okay? So you don't miss it. All right. So I want to be able to meet you where you're at, but I want to make sure, like my patients, that they get the value that is there available for them. Okay? And the value in this method and this relationship that I want to have with you is right now high in value. Okay? So, any questions? All right, I wish you all a good night. And I hope to see you in April. Have a nice evening.
Good night.
Thanks, Russ.